Hello everybody, this video is sponsored by a contribution from Anonymous, and this is what they want you to know. I just want to let you know what a breath of fresh air you are and how extremely intelligent you are, especially far beyond many therapists that I have come in contact with. I am so happy that you made this channel, and I really wish there were more people like you doing this type of work. Thank you. I don't know where I should share my story. I need to remain anonymous because I still currently live with my narc family. I live with my mother and father, and I am in my late 30s. My sister lives with us too, and she's 8 years younger than me. I am the scapegoat, and I have always been the scapegoat, even before my sister was born. I remember my mother started abusing me when I was a toddler. She would take me shopping, and I would hide under the clothes racks. She couldn't find me, so she would get frustrated and beat me right there in the store. I remember how physically and emotionally painful that was. Beatings were regular for years. She would tell me that I was stupid, a bad child, that I should never have been born, and always a burden on her. Same with my dad. He said I was always causing problems. When I was in elementary school, my mother would do math homework with me, and when I had trouble concentrating, she kept repeating the same 2 plus 4 problem. I would get it wrong, and she would beat me with a ruler or sometimes my bottom. I would sob for hours, and she would yell at me to stop sobbing. This is a major reason why I hated math, and I thought I was horrible at math. You know, I had the same issues with my mother in math and beatings, and then when you're crying, it's like, shut up or I'll give you something to cry about. So I understand that frustration and that pain. And it's not even that your mother cared about your schoolwork. She was just looking for an opportunity to abuse you and beat you. They never missed that opportunity. So I grew up to abuse other children when they would make me mad or irritated, and I got in trouble for that. I had extreme anger issues. My father has a mild form of schizophrenia, where when he doesn't take his medication, he starts thinking that people act and mean things that are a figment of his imagination. He would yell and beat me with his shoe. I am surprised that almost all my teachers didn't call attention to the bruises on my body. They hit me all over except my crotch. You know, and back then, teachers didn't give a shit, you know, especially if you're white. If you're white, you grew up in the suburbs, they didn't care, they looked the other way. Those weren't problems that white middle class kids had. Those are problems that inner city kids have, that minorities have, not in these lily white towns with, you know, the manicured lawns, the picket fences, so on and so forth. You know, because those teachers were, you know, just worried about their pensions, working, you know, 8 to 3 every day, weekends off, and they weren't looking to rock the boat or get involved in anything that that was going to be controversial. My sister was born and things were much better. I got along with my sister, but the abuse didn't stop. My father kept having nervous breakdowns. He would drink and beat my mother, and every week there would be an argument over money. It took me a while to figure out the context of the arguments because they were speaking Farsi. Oh, okay, so this is Farsi, I believe, is Islamic, some kind of Arab Islamic. Fast forward to when I was 16. I was in love with my cousin when I was 11 years old and 15, and then grew out of it. Long story short, my uncle, his wife and daughter, and her husband, an 11-year-old daughter, 2 sons came to live with us 6 months rent-free. The first month, it was just their sons, including the one I had a crush on before. I will call him Danny. Danny was 8 years older than me, and I thought he was so cool. He had his pilot's license and his hairstylist in his mother's salon, handsome and suave. Well, Danny bought Kahlua and put it in the butler cabinet. One time he encouraged me to drink with him and his younger brother. His younger brother laughed and mentioned Danny putting roofies in my drink. Jesus, your own family member. I sat on the couch and Danny bought me a mug of Kahlua. I had a couple shots and I was 16 thinking I was so cool drinking with my cousin while my parents were out of the house for something. All of a sudden, I felt delirious and was laughing and couldn't stop laughing. I just didn't drink that much. He gave me very small amounts of Kahlua. I told them I was getting drunk, and Danny said it wasn't possible because he didn't give me that much alcohol. All of a sudden, I had a horrible headache and was extremely dizzy. So Danny encouraged me to go to my room, which I did. I was panicking because I felt like I was dying. I had a horrible stomach ache. My mother came to my room because I was moaning from feeling so sick. I didn't tell her I drank because I didn't want to get in trouble. She told me I was being spoiled and overreacting. Danny came to my room and asked if I was okay, and I told him I was, then he left. All of a sudden, I blacked out and fell into a deep sleep. I don't remember a lot, but my memories have come back after 20 years because I was eating myself into the grave and reaching over 300 pounds. I was so depressed, but I had to stop eating and save myself from getting fatter, but food made me feel better. But when I stopped binge eating, that's when the memories of Danny abusing me, my cousin, his niece, and brother came back to me. So when I woke up, I was in a horrible mood. I felt like someone ran over my head. I also bled from my rectum. Oh, God. Nice family. On that same day, my other uncle and some extended family came to visit, so my mother lectured me and told me that I had to come down and make an appearance. I had to make number 2, but it was the most painful number 2 I ever had, and I believe he tried to anally and vaginally rape me because around that time I had an extremely painful period, and I never had painful periods. Yeah, well, if you're bleeding out your butt, that would, after you woke up after a deep sleep, yeah, that would be a pretty good indicator. So, of course, being drugged, I don't remember what he did to me, but I did feel like I was suffocating in my sleep. I would wake up naked on the floor with a blanket wrapped around me. Another memory I had was when I woke up to seeing him in my bed smiling. I would wake up in the morning and see his pants in my bed. So he abused me more than once in my sleep. These are my memories. Where were your parents? Probably looking the other way. So he would beat my sister, his niece, and me with a remote control when he didn't watch the program, when he couldn't watch the program he wanted. He would purchase softcore porn on my parents' bill. My mom thought I was the one ordering softcore porn, and I told her that it was not me. Anyway, Danny and my uncle would make a mess and wouldn't clean the house. So my father was so upset that he kicked them all out. They rented a house less than a mile away. The last time Danny raped me was when I was not drugged. My mother forced me to go with her and my sister to visit them. I begged her not to take me, and I couldn't win. We ended up there, and Danny greeted us with his fake smile and slightly nervous laughter. We sat at the table and had dinner. His mother commented on how fresh I looked because before I got there, I took a shower. My mom, uncle, and his wife left the room and went somewhere else. He fingered me under the table, and I had a hole in my pants, and my mother refused to buy me new pants. I didn't have new clothes for a really long time. He fingered me right in front of his brother-in-law. I pushed his hands away and kept telling him to stop. Danny, his younger brother, and I were the only ones in the house for several hours, and I don't remember where everyone else went. Danny kept following me and telling me to have sex with him, and I told him no. I washed the dishes, and he pulled my pants down, and I felt his penis on my bottom. I pulled up my pants, and he kept playing this game. I then sat down, and he pulled my arm really hard to the point the chair flipped, and I was on the ground. I told him no, and I sat on the couch. He pulled me off the couch and dragged me by my hair, and I screamed, "Where is your family?" Because he said they just left the room. He said some derogatory things to me like I was a pig, but I don't remember. So his younger brother was no longer there. He pushed me to the staircase into the corner. He pulled down his pants and shoved his penis in my mouth. I cried. Then I saw his sister call for us, and she saw what was happening and put her hand over her mouth and yelled. He took me upstairs, and by that time my uncle followed us up the stairs. My uncle was trying to save me from his son, but Danny kept fighting him. Jesus Christ. So let me explain it right here. Okay, the family knows damn well I got these rape secrets, and they'd rather try to sweep it under the rug and let this motherfucker continue to rape women and his own family members than actually doing the right thing. And I have a real sneaking suspicion your mother knew this the entire time before taking you over there. That's why she was so insistent on doing it. Danny took me to his room and locked the door. I tried to leave, but he threatened to beat me over the head with a 30-pound dumbbell, so I stayed on the bed, hoping my uncle or someone would save me because I was terrified. At the time, my hymen wasn't completely broken, and I thought I was still a virgin. So I was paranoid of having vaginal sex and was so afraid that my mother was going to be so mad at me. Bullshit, your mother knew this was going on. I heard my sister whisper in the door, and 20 years later she told me she was the one who was whispering in the door because she heard screaming in the next room. My sister and her cousin were playing when she heard the commotion. My uncle came barging in and took my hand, and we went downstairs. I don't know what happened after that. My uncle argued with his son Danny. Eventually I left with my mom and sister. My mother was completely silent, and I was worried she was upset with me. This was just the tip of the iceberg. Your mother was going to get them. Where are the cops? Why isn't nobody calling the cops? Why isn't somebody having this guy put in a fucking mental institution? Where is your mother? Where was she when this is all going on? Because obviously everybody was still in the goddamn house. Why is it only your uncle trying to get not the entire family trying to get you out of there? 3 days later, I confessed to my counselor that my cousin sodomized me, and she contacted social services. Social services visited us and my mother and told me to tell them that I lied because she didn't want word spread around the Iranian community about me being raped. Okay? Now, I don't want to get kind of political here, but this is exactly what Donald Trump is talking about foreign rape culture being brought into this country. This is what he's talking about. People like Trump and Ann Coulter, when they're saying these outsiders are coming in with a history of fucking rape culture into our country. This is what they're talking about, where your own daughter is being raped by family members and all they care about is it getting out. And don't think your mother didn't know this was going on before you went over there. No way this is out of the blue. So I told social services that I lied. After that, Danny and his brother would drive by and egg our house. My mother ignored it. A few weeks later, my mom went to the DMV, and Danny somehow got a bunch of tickets put on my mother's driving record, and that was before the computerized database. So he had a habit of having multiple driver's licenses, and someone transferred his bad driving record onto hers. Luckily, she got the tickets off her record. Anyways, Danny and his brother would drive by while I would wait for my mom to pick me up and shout nasty insults. By then, I was having a mental breakdown and stopped eating, showering, and had paranoia about going to the bathroom. The reason is when Danny lived with us, he would compete with me for the shower. So I would go several days without a shower because they all used our hot water, and I would have to wait for hours before the water would get hot again. He would see me go into the bathroom because he was waiting to get into the shower. So I had no privacy, no boundaries, or a place of my own. One night, my father and uncle had a huge argument on the phone. After all the bullshit that my uncle and his family put us through, he told my father to go to hell. Then all of a sudden, the harassment stopped. My cousin stopped prank calling, egging our house, and harassing me outside of school. Then my mother told me that they moved out of state for good. I was deep into my obsessions and paranoia about getting naked, going to the bathroom, and I began imagining things that weren't happening, so my mother took me to a psychiatrist. They gave me an ultimatum. I left the room and they blocked me from leaving. So the choice was I either get on the medication or go to a mental institution. I saw a therapist who was a total bitch. She refused one-on-one therapy, forced me into group therapy, and told me I was imagining things. The saddest thing about the whole thing was that the only person who was vocal about what went on was my sister. Everyone denied it ever happened. My mom said she didn't hear me yelling when I screamed and yelled for help. Bullshit. Bullshit. So apparently she didn't hear my uncle and Danny fighting. So I was the crazy one. I had so much blocked out of my memory and I needed to get to the bottom of it. It took 20 years for the memories to come back. So they have no problem, okay, your family and your mother has no problem having you deemed as crazy and need a psychiatric help, okay? But they didn't want to deem Danny, the son, a rapist, okay? You know, that's just another thing where females in that culture are basically shit, are basically fucking treated like garbage. Treated like garbage. I thought I was crazy because everyone in Danny's entire family denied it. My mother said she didn't hear me scream for help when I did. So I knew it in the back of my mind that I was physically and sexually abused, but everyone made it appear as if I was delusional. One time, right after Danny was arrested, when I told the social worker he raped me, his sister and mother waited after school till I stepped off the bus to tell me that what I did was horrible. My cousin denied her brother. Her cousin denied that her brother raped me and that he had a wonderful woman who dated and wanted him. She was insulting me. They wanted me to apologize and I refused. They were upset. They were upset because I told the authorities, which had him arrested. So that was the reason why the abuse didn't stop. My mother was a complete coward. She punished me and made me crazy. Anyways, if it wasn't for my sister, I would have left home a long time ago. I tried many times to leave, but I was unsuccessful. What hurts is that my parents promised change. They swore they love us, but the last time all four of us sat and talked together, my parents told my sister that she wasted their money getting 2 bachelor's degrees. She got a master's in biomedical sciences and just got a research position at a prestigious research institution where she loves. Her boyfriend is in a top-tier law school and thought he is not perfect. And though he's not perfect, he is a good guy, and my sister adores him. I sat there while my parents said they wouldn't accept their marriage. My dad just smiled and said he refused to accept their plans to get married, and he enjoyed it. She cried so hard. I told my mother that I was upset with her when she was going to college. I collapsed and couldn't get off the floor for 3 days. I called my family and told them the situation, and my sister, mom, and Flying Monkey, former best friend, told me it was because I was fat and couldn't get off the floor. At the time, I was 230 pounds, so I wasn't super morbidly obese. So with their attitude, I just repeated on my own without them. I just recuperated on my own without them. I dropped classes because I was in so much pain, and it took months for the pain to go away. So when I told my mom that I would never forget how no one helped me when I was lying in my own filth, I couldn't go to the bathroom, so I urinated and defecated in a small plastic container and drank water until it run out. I was so ashamed to ask for help. I didn't go to the hospital because I didn't want to accumulate debt. I did go to the doctor, who was baffled that I didn't have anyone to help me. I know I asked the janitor for Advil, and that helped me get back on my feet to walk to take a shower after 3 days of hell. Ollie, I know this is a long story, but I love my sister. My sister is the golden child, but sometimes I'm afraid of leaving her. I am not worried about my parents. My dad is 74 and my mom is in her early 60s and has everything she wants and needs. She can always fool people and get new friends or whatever to help her out, even when she becomes old and frail. Once I told her that I wouldn't take care of her, and she said that was fine. She was so horrible, and she is still horrible. Despite all of this, I still love her, but I have ruined my life. I have no children, no husband, no assets other than some savings, and no real friends. I just have my education and my job caring for seniors that I love. The seniors have been like substitute friends and family since my friends and family were and still are worthless pieces of shit. Sometimes my sister teases me, but no matter what she does or has done, it is nothing compared to what my mother, father, and dad's family have done to me. I always thought I was bad. I thought if people constantly abuse me, then there must be something inherently wrong with me. But since getting jobs, going to college, getting awards at my jobs, and meeting people outside our family and social circle, I found out I'm not inherently bad or stupid. I don't have a learning disability and have received my associate's degree and have only a few classes before I get my bachelor's degree. All right, so your mother is substantially younger than your father. It was your father's side of the family who's doing all this abuse. Your mother was only worried about her fucking meal ticket. That's what it was coming from with her. Your mother had punched her meal ticket. My sister put me down for wanting to pursue engineering. She told me that I should follow what I am naturally good at, despite my ideas for inventions. The truth is, my mother was so cruel to her lately. I don't think she ever told my sister that she is proud of her. My sister is highly educated and extremely intelligent, but my mother is such a manipulator that despite her illiteracy and inarticulate speech, she managed to dupe us into believing that we are dumb and she is smart. She always called my sister dumb. My sister is far and beyond my mother's intelligence. I have no idea how we came out so intelligent because my parents are extremely dumb. And you know what? I had the same problem being called stupid and dumb by Drunky the Fuck Clown and Meatnormous. And then when you finally come into the light, you realize they're dumber than a box of rocks. And that's why they call you dumb, because they're jealous of your intelligence. Yeah, I will pretend and say my mom is smart, but she's not. She is a creative genius. She's a cake maker and cook. She's artistically extremely talented, but she can't spell even though she has lived in America for most of her life. She is also very erratic and unorganized when it comes to business. My sister and former best friend helped her business, and my friend was a great contact, which she got her huge clients like a nonprofit bank with over 1,000 people. My mother doesn't deserve the level of success that she could have. My mother doesn't deserve the level of success that she could have because she destroys relationships. Her ego can't handle answering others who know something she doesn't. She can't shut her mouth, and that is why her food business is so small. This business stifled our growth when we helped This business has stifled our growth because when we helped our mother with her business, she never gave us any credit. My sister helped with writing contacts. We helped with developing the business plan, cleaning the kitchen, carrying extremely heavy pots and pans and dishware, and she never gives us credit. She always said she was the one who did all the work, which is a bunch of bullshit. I have been helping her since I was 10 years old with everything. She tricked me into believing that she bought me 18-karat gold jewelry. She made a bed for me and bought me things that weren't free. I was babysitting my sister every summer since I was 10 years old. I was 10 and I'd feed my sister, make lunch for my mom before she came home. She would complain of being hungry. I was 10 years old. I learned how to make fried chicken and my mom was impressed. She wanted my mom's love, so I wanted my mom's love. I didn't do well academically because I believed I was stupid. I did get all A's and B's in 7th grade and didn't have the pressure to help my mother so much because by that time my sister was in kindergarten. My sister was so independent that she was only 3 and knew how to dress herself. She never gave us credit for being able to be independent at such a young age. My parents always told us that we would be in the streets, so that is why I always come back home, because I am afraid. I am afraid of failing, but I am starting to realize that it is brainwashing. When I went away to college in a crime-ridden city, I felt more safe and at peace than at my own home, which is what, and you know, that paragraph is pretty profound because it's why we hang in there so long, because we think we're going to be homeless. We think we can't live without them because they've ingrained in us that we're stupid and we're unable to survive on our own. My own home has been a war zone. When I was in first grade, my mom called the police because I saw my dad get into a heated argument with my mom, which he pulled out her chef knife and yelled and banged it against the kitchen countertop. I started yelling and he widened his eyes at me. Then I saw him run towards us. We ran up the stairs into my mom's bedroom. In the dark, my dad was holding a chef knife and my mom used me as a shield, and my dad was shocked and stopped. Then he went after my mom in the bathroom, and they wrestled each other, laughed, and collapsed, breathing heavily. I crouched on the floor as he got up to go out the door, so my mom pushed him out, locked the door. Then my mom called the cops, and then the cops arrived and then left. And you know what? I was used as a human shield. My mother held a fucking sword to my throat and told my father, "I'll kill you, kid, unless you open this door." As an adult, my dad pulled a knife on me and told me to leave the house, so I did. I had been kicked out of the house for days, where I spent time sleeping in my ex-boyfriend's car. Meanwhile, my mother is supposed to be the mother of the year, and my dad is the innocent, attentive angel around guests. I am no longer worried about my parents, but I worry about my sister. That is why going no contact is hard. Well, you know what? Your sister is an adult. And, you know, at some point she's got to take responsibility for your own life, because your worry for your sister is destroying your own. I am working with a doctor who's a Harvard grad who put me on Prozac and amphetamine and a special diet, which so far I've lost 27 pounds. I have learned that Prozac has helped me cope with living in this shithole. I tell myself and my family lies. But I never deviate from what is fundamentally wrong. My sister confessed that she knows things are bad, but she has to make something up in her mind to cope with living there. My sister has a master's degree and 2 bachelor's degrees. Why is she living at home? She's the golden child, which my mother paid for both bachelor's degree, semester abroad, and Invisalign. My sister got a RAV4 when she turned 16. I never got a car till I was in my 20s. They paid for my sister's driver's ed, while my mom told me I was too dumb to drive. She would let me drive her home at night from religious gatherings because she was too tired to drive, and while I was still learning how to drive, especially at night, she would beat me because I didn't understand her directions at midnight. But she was selfish. The only reason she wanted me to drive is so I could drive her. By only having a learner's permit, I could drive a car on my own. Essentially, I was a free chauffeur for her. And this again speaks to me, because I had to buy my own car at 17, okay? My brother was not allowed to touch any of my parents' vehicles. My brother was given a vehicle at 17, didn't have to pay for shit his entire fucking life. Now, the part about being the chauffeur, that's what my narcissistic grandmother, Virginia, did to this old woman, Florence. Used her as a chauffeur. Okay? Narcissists live to be chauffeured around and catered to hand and foot. Okay? You know, like you're Benson or something, driving her around. You're not the narcissist butler. Remember that. So I believe my sister was better than me, but my sister treated me as an equal, and I believed I was smart. At times, I believed our relationship was getting better because she would tell me that I could do anything I set my mind to. Then I came to her for career advice for the umpteenth time. I have an interest in healthcare and engineering, and I told her that I didn't know how to bridge the gap. So she told me that I dropped classes and how I took algebra so many times. She overlooked the fact that I took 2 math classes and received A's in both. I have received 80s and 90s on math tests, so I can take any class, and when I put my mind to it, perform well. I have dozens of ideas for inventions. It has happened all over again. She is smart, high-achieving golden child, while I am the troublemaker who has withdrawn from classes, but no one is paying for my college. It took me so much to realize how brainwashed I had been. I developed math and school anxiety from my mother calling me stupid, pinching me, beating me, while helping me with my homework. My mother said that my teachers complained about me, which is true, and they were mostly a bunch of bureaucratic witches devoid of intelligence. Most teachers are. This is why college and work has only worked. I could set my mind to school and work, and eventually things would work out. The seniors and my professors have treated me better than my own family and mom's flying monkey friends. I need to leave, but I don't know how to go no contact with my sister because I love her, and I am afraid I will lose her soul and become like my mom, or have her life ruined like my mom did mine. My mom ruined my self-esteem, my friendships, my love life. She forced me into a prearranged marriage with my father, a man she didn't want, and we are products of rape since my grandmother was forced my mom to marry my father. Your mom was forced into the prearranged marriage. Yeah, and that's could be where a lot of your mother's rage and anger goes from, which is why she let fucking Danny do what she did to you. Okay, it's like you're punishing, you guys are the women in your family are punishing each other for these fucking sick, savage men that are taking advantage. The reason why my sister is in denial, because she was not there to witness my mother's and father's extreme psychotic rage. We have an 8-year age difference, and she seems to me as blowing our domestic situation out of proportion. I just see my mom and trying to make moves to ruin my sister's life. She has a good job, good boyfriend, and friends. My mom tries to ruin things and then wonder why she is alone. My sister told them they should have never had children, to which my mom said, no, having children is so good. Yeah, good because we are a consistent source of narc supply. Exactly. When I see my parents psychologically abuse my sister, it hurts me, but I don't know how to show them, but I cry somewhere else. A stranger bought me tissues and I cried so hard. Life has been great, but it has been disappointing and hard. I can eventually gather my gumption and go no contact, but I don't know how to leave my sister. Your sister is not your problem. Your sister is in her 30s as well. Okay, I'll explain this at the end. I'm not worried about my parents, but I worry. I'm not worried about my parents, but I worry that my mom will ruin my sister's life. Please, I need your support since I have no one. All my friends are gone because they were narcs, sociopaths, and other users, so I dropped them. I have essentially given up on friendship now. I have acquaintances, and my job and school keep me happier than any relationship did. Please tell me what to do. I want to go no contact, but I don't know how it will affect my sister. I don't know if she will have a good life. You're not your sister's mother, you're your sister, and your sister's an adult. The stranger told me that I need to take care of myself, and I felt so sick. I feel like I am so sick that I need to move out just for my health. Exactly. I know every time I have put a little piece of success, they create some drama. When my sister had to take tests for a master's degree, they conjured up drama just to stress her. In cognitive neuroscience, when a person is stressed, parts of their brain turn off like a switch. This is why my mom thinks she's a genius. She's a master of destruction. She manipulates to just drive us insane. I don't know how she's treated others. I just know she's jealous of people's youth, and she's more likely to manipulate young people, including, at times, irritating young children. Anyways, I need to leave soon for my sanity. Going no contact would be good for me, but I don't know how to leave my sister behind. I worry about her. Sorry for the long message. Any advice would be appreciated so much. Thanks so much for your activism. Anonymous. Okay. what I want to focus on here now is you and your health. Because you can't do anything for your sister if your health isn't good. Your sister is in her 30s. She's going to have to walk on her own. Okay? You are enabling your sister to stay abused by you staying there yourself. Okay? By your help of your sister, you are hurting your sister. Okay? And you need to go no contact from all of it. And I would explain to your sister, I'm doing this for me, but I'm going no contact for you. Because by me being here, it gives you a cushion to stay here and let the pattern of abuse continue. You let your sister, let your parents tell her as an adult she couldn't marry the man she loved. A guy who's in law school is going to have a career for himself over what? Over some ancient fucking, I'm assuming Islamic tradition of arranged marriages? Fuck that shit. How well did it work for them? Your mother let you get sexually assaulted, like her mother let her get sexually assaulted over anger over the arranged marriage bullshit. Okay? Your sister's got a fucking a master's and a double bachelor's, and she's still letting these fucking old savages run her life? No. At some point, you got to have tough love and cut the cord. And that's for your own sanity and your own health mostly. That comes first. You have to put yourself first, above your sister, above all else. And only by helping yourself are you going to be able to possibly help your sister. She may never see it. She may never be able to get there, but that can't be your problem. Because she will have no chance of seeing this as long as you are both in that house, and you especially allowing this to continue and enabling her to bury her fucking head in the sand and let this shit continue. She should go off and marry that fucking guy, if at all possible, and say fuck you to her parents. It's not that difficult. You don't need these people in your life. They are abusive, fucking sexually abusive, verbally abusive, fucking rapists, okay, stuck in some fucking sand ideology from 5,000 years ago doing the same shit they've been doing for years. And look at the end result of it. Look at the end result of it. I hope my advice helps, and I know the end of this is a little harsh, but you need a wake-up call, okay? You need to understand, by your staying there for your sister, you are damaging both you and your sister. No contact is the only way to possibly help her, but there's no guarantee that that will. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I hope this advice helps. Thank you everybody else who's watched. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments and advice, so please leave them in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you guys know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. See you all again soon. Bye.